NUPRC must have been in the position to know exactly what production we are doing, what production has been sold in advance, and what have been generated for those production that have been sold in advance. Then, if we equate them with the percentage of interest for that money that have been taken in advance, is it good when you do your arithmetic, simple arithmetic, is it good for the ordinary Nigerian to believe that what we have earned or what we have collected is commensurate with what should have been earned by the country?
The current management of the NUPRC is the pioneer, that is management team to implement the Petroleum Industry Act for the nation. So we are privileged to be the pioneer in driving the Petroleum Industry Act.
We're going to talk about revenue generation. How has NUPRC fared? And we also want to see what are the strengths of NUPRC that will make them be able to generate the projected revenue that this country is expecting. What are the issues aligning to production? What are the total production of petroleum, of crude in this country? In the absence of having a metering system in this country, from NUPRC, the committee will want to know what is the output of production, the total output of production, vis-a-vis the revenue that has been generated. And if revenue has been generated, what has been remitted to the consolidated revenue fund of the country. And also, maybe in a closed loop, we are going to talk about the cost of collection. The cost of collection, as a committee, we feel is very high, most of these agencies. We cannot have agencies that will, of government, and then at the same time we turn them into commission agents. So the committee wants to find out what are the realities that goes with cost of collection. And then vis-a-vis the operating surpluses. How much is being remitted? Then the issue of deliveries. What are the main issues that we have? What are the challenges with the issues of deliveries to refineries in Nigeria? Because that is another way that we can increase our revenue. Because if the production is there and local refinery is working well, we know that there will be more revenue, there will be more inflows to the country. So, and the final thing is knowing exactly in the last 3 years how much we, NUPRC, have been able to generate and how much IOCs also have been able to contribute to the revenue profile of this country.
The first thing we tried to do was to put in place the necessary regulations that will enable us to implement the law in line with, like I said, the intendment of the legislators. So to date, we have been able to gazette, that is 17 key regulations by which we are driving the industry in the right direction. The major issue we have, aside from the domestic challenges such as infrastructural decay, infrastructural gap, and the menace of crude oil theft, the major challenge we have confronting the industry is the low level of investment. As at April this year, the Commission declared, verified, validated 37.5 billion barrels of crude and 209 trillion cubic feet of gas as our reserve. And as of today, our daily oil production stands at about 1.58 million barrels of crude. We recognize, Mr. Chairman, that, of course, we suffer production to reserve ratio from what the numbers have just read out. We recognize that we suffer worse CapEx to reserve ratio, which is the most serious issue we are facing. Nigeria, as we speak, is plagued with one of the lowest in terms of CapEx to reserve ratio among other nations. And that signals the fact, at least to illustrate the fact that the major issue that we are facing is in terms of low level of CapEx, in the industry. But to take that to part of the issues you have raised, like I've said, we set out as a regulator. We have a very lofty vision, to be the leading regulator in Africa. We set out a vision for ourselves, and we set the clear regulatory directions to pilot the industry on the path of, on the trajectory of progress. So to that extent, and from the favorable feedback that we have, and supported with facts, statistics, to answer the first issue laid by your very distinguished chairman, I think Nigeria, as we have moved from the era pre-PIA, we are now on the right trajectory that needs to be sustained. We have moved from an era, Mr. Chairman, where at a point we moved from an era where we had as low as 11 rigs to now 38 rigs. So we believe there is peak in our activities, but the truth of the matter is that we are not where we think, we need to be. The situation is still that our production, we are still not, where we want to be in terms of production that will take us to optimum revenue generation, in line with our huge reserve. Apart from the, that is impact of the crude oil theft in terms of reduction in revenue, that is associated with the volume, that is lost, is equally the investment opportunity, that is a loss, potential investment opportunity loss, in the sense that the activities of the thieves, of the vandals, are tended to serve as disincentive to, that is attracting potential investment. But in addressing this frontally, the Commission has been very, very proactive in its activities. Like I said, we roll out regulations which we've done in collaboration with the stakeholders, which we feel are attractive. And again, on assumption of office of the current administration under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we are lucky that the president, with being business-minded, receiving submissions from us as a commission, being able to put in place a number of incentives. Because what we should be talking about now is, especially given the trajectory of the momentum of the energy transition on one hand, which is an onslaught against fossil fuel, and again, the competition that's been brought about by change in energy market, which these two factors are a reality, and they are, as a matter of fact, more challenging to fossil fuel nations like Nigeria, even more than, that is, if you ascribe weight to it, than issue of the crude oil theft, which we are battling equally to deal with. So, in dealing with that, a number of incentives are being rolled out, that is proactively. That is to ensure that we attract investment. Among that is the fact that approval to reduce the, that is minimize, that is the front entry barrier, that vacature. The position of the president is that the regulators should vacate entry barriers to enable us attract investment into the industry.